Hey good people, welcome back to Beauty in the Frizz. My name is Kara. Whether you're new or returning, thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with me. It's a little late night mimosas and makeup. It's actually like 9 p.m. and it's Saturday. Oh, I do have on the same clothes, different day. Didn't film 2 videos in a day.
And if you know my uncle, say happy birthday to him.
Okay, they don't know your uncle. Can you?
If Mimi watching, she knows.
I have a mimosa. It is good. Okay, today I am just doing a little YouTube tag video, and the title is, Has YouTube Changed Me and Where Are We Now? So if you want to see the answers to those questions, keep on watching. Let me know what you think. And if makeup is your therapy and your love, if it makes you happy and you want to hang out with someone that feels the same way, definitely consider joining the community. I'd love to have you back. All right, let's get started. Alright y'all, so I originally saw this tag video from my friend Kelly. Her channel is KBellaBeauty, and I'll put her channel link in the description box. And my friend KBellaBeauty.
Oh, I thought you were about to say Kai.
No, Kai is your friend.
I know, you said K-Bell, it's not Kai.
I can't do this. Anyway, she wasn't the creator of the tag, so I'll have the creators of the tag linked in the description box as well. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into these questions. There are 10. I thought this would be a great tag to do because I've been doing so much reflecting lately on just different things. I don't have to tell them to subscribe. Like, that's not the point. No, I don't like
all
saying
YouTubers do it.
I'm not all YouTubers.
I said all, not one.
Okay, August. Let me finish this.
Just say subscribe.
No.
Please.
I'm not.
That's how you get subscribers.
No, people will subscribe if they like you. You don't have to tell them. I never understood that. Anyway, I thought this would be a great tag to do because I have just been doing a lot of reflecting, not just with YouTube, but just my life in general. And I thought it would be really good to answer these questions. So question number 1 is, do you still feel the same about having your channel as you did when you started? The answer to that is absolutely. This channel has become a huge part of my life, and it's been a little over 2 years. Sometimes I don't feel like sitting down and filming, but once I sit down and get started, it's just something that makes me really happy. It is a place for me to be creative, and I thought that was going to be the most important part, but I think now the most important part of it is the talking part, the therapy part, the parts where I'm not necessarily talking about the makeup products themselves, but you know, what I like about the makeup and how it makes me feel, and also talking about.
Can you charge my iPad and come up? Continue.
Talking about the parenting, talking about my challenges. Those things have added so much to me because it is therapeutic for me to share. And I can't tell you how many people have reached out about certain things, whether it's anxiety, whether it was when I told you I had an issue with pulling my hair, whether it was about autism, just so many things. This channel is a huge part of my life, and I love it. I love it so much, and I feel like it's not just mine, you know? So yeah, the answer is yes, I do still feel the same. Question number 2, if you could do anything differently when you started, what would it be? What I would have done differently would have been to not exclude the boys from the videos. When I started my channel, I think it would make sense that I would try to model my channel after other beauty channels, because I'm thinking this is what people want to see. So when I first started doing my videos, they were just little quick music videos where I was doing a time lapse of an eye look, and I uploaded those first. But when I sat down to really do like my first video where I was actually talking about an eyeshadow palette, which happened to be Divine Rose, and it was just after we saw the reveal of Pat McGrath's Divine Rose 2 palette. And I had Divine Rose and was just kind of doing an eye look and just talking about how excited I was. I was filming those early videos at midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. And the saving grace was that in the very beginning, I'm trying to think, I started my channel in May. So I was working. There was like a 2-week period in March where they thought schools were going to open in 2 weeks. They thought COVID was going to be over like in 2 weeks and that shutdown was going to help. But eventually we went back virtually. So even though I may not have had to leave and physically go to school, I was still getting up early, getting the boys ready, teaching, and I was falling asleep with them. I still do that a lot. I fall asleep with the boys at night, and then I was waking up in the middle of the night, putting on this makeup and recording, and then getting back up at like 6, 7 o'clock, you know, no, not 7 o'clock, 6, 5:30 at times to get ready for work. It was not smart. I mean, I felt like it's what I had to do, but I don't know, you know, that wasn't a great idea, you know, and it wasn't an idea that was going to be sustainable. And so eventually the boys just started popping in. I used to try to completely edit them out, and now I just edit like certain things, you know, but I think they've become such a part of this channel, and my nephews, when they were living here, I think it's added more of a realistic feel. You know, I don't do this full time. I am a mom, I am a teacher. And as much as I may have wanted this to just be mine and this little corner that I have in my life that's just for me, they're a part of it, you know, and it is what it is. But I have really enjoyed, you know, when I go back and look at old videos, I can tell that the boys were younger, you know, or I can tell when River comes in or Brian comes in, like, oh, it brings me back to the time that they were living with me. So it's almost like a little documentary, and it is so special. So even though I say that I would have done that differently and I wouldn't have done those videos at 2 in the morning or whatever, if I had the perfect time to do my recording where the boys weren't here, they may have never been introduced in these videos. And so I don't know if I really would do anything differently. I'm long-winded today. This kind of goes into number 3. Had to make sure my mic was on. I was about to be mad. Which is, how has your filming schedule changed since you started, or has it stayed the same? So yeah, I was filming in the middle of the night, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., whenever I had the time, which was in the middle of the night, and I just had to let that go. My sleeping habits are not great. I pretty much get up every night in the middle of the night, and I'm trying to, when I do wake up in the middle of the night, I'm trying to not get up and edit or get up and scroll on my phone or things like that. Sometimes I fall asleep and then I get up to shower, or a kid gets up. So I am trying to be a little bit better with that, but getting up to do a full-length YouTube video, that's a no, an absolute no. I think that my filming schedule is going to change again because I'm gonna have to be to work at 7:15. I started doing most of my eye looks and most of my videos filming in the morning before work. Since I was putting makeup on anyway, I felt like I might as well record it. But even though we'll still put the makeup on, getting up, and all my setup just stays up in my room. That's why it looks real crazy in here. But just turning on the lights and talking and sitting through, you know, it's gonna take longer than me just putting on my makeup in the mirror. You know what I mean? So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to sustain that with this upcoming school year. I am teaching a new grade. I'm a team lead. I just can't run into school at the last minute the way that I was doing. And the reason that I was running in at the last minute was because I was filming these videos. You know, I'd be late, but coming in with a beat face, you know, and I'm trying not to do that because rushing is something that really gives me a lot of anxiety. And so I would like to change that habit. 7:15 is extremely early, But I might be able to do some filming now in the afternoon because I'll be getting out early and the boys won't be home at that time. I do film my purchase or pass. I start filming those on Thursdays. And then any extra releases I film on Friday. And I try to have it edited, you know, by Friday night. But that video takes a long time. I think that's one of my longest videos as far as editing goes. Now, my mimosas and makeup, I do try to do that on Friday, but sometimes, depending on the video, I can do that earlier on in the week. So I think there'll be some room to play around with the filming schedule. So we'll see how it goes. Question number 4, what surprised you the most about having a channel? I think what surprised me was that people wanted to watch me. I didn't yeah. I mean, you have to think that YouTube is saturated with so many beauty content creators. I mean, it's like every day I find someone new. And so for someone to take the time to make a comment or to subscribe, it just really surprised me. And at first, I'm not sure if my personality really, I know it didn't. My personality didn't really show through. It's odd to sit and talk to a camera like you're talking to actual people. And so for especially the early people that found my channel to subscribe, is really humbling. And I think another thing that surprised me, some of the comments that people leave, and I mean in a positive way, just the fact that people take the time like to really write comments. And I know, I mean, from the shortest comment to the longest comment, like I really appreciate every single comment, even if it's a heart or a smiley face or thanks, whatever. I appreciate every single thing, and I try to respond to every comment. But when people start sharing things about their lives or being vulnerable or showing that they are connecting with something I said in some way, it is so special. You know, I don't know. It's really moving, and I don't really take anything like that for granted, because like time is the most valuable thing that we have. So when I say thank you for taking out some of your time and spending it with me, like that's not just to say that, because you don't get time back. So if you take your time to watch something that I'm doing and you feel like it's worth it, that means so much. So I think that really surprised me, just that the connections that I've made with people who watch my videos and the connections that I've made with other YouTubers. Like, it's just so special. Like Dr. Ash, Yadi, you know, Yadi was the first person that reached out to me because I saw something about her starting her channel on a story that Tara Lynn posted. And then I watched her first video, and then from then on, like, we have really been friends, and Dr. Ash too. And I'm sad because we were supposed to get together in, what were we supposed to get together? What month was that? July. And then, you know, August and Marky got COVID, and Yadi had a trip to Chicago. Her conference got canceled because of COVID. So we were just thinking, and that was this summer, 2022, we were just like, you know, we're gonna have to reschedule the trip. So that was really disappointing because I was so excited to meet them in person, because we talk a lot. We talk all the time, especially like video chat, Marco Polo, and they're special friends. And then when I went to Marco Island in Florida, which is where I just got back from, I texted Aileen over at A Merch Beauty, and I'm kind of like, hey, where are you in relation to Marco Island? And she's like, oh girl, I'm 2.5 hours away. And I'm like, do you feel like coming, you know, because I'm not a huge driver, you know. She's like, anything under 6 hours is close. So she came, and when I saw her in person, it wasn't weird. It wasn't like, I don't know this person. It's like, I've known this person for 2 years. And it was just like we had seen each other, like physically seen each other before. And Aileen is someone who was thinking about starting a channel. Like when I met her, you know, she was thinking about it. And I mean, you see where she is. And I'll link all the people's channels that I'm talking about in the description box in case you're like new here. But yeah, that surprised me the most. Like the friendships, the connections, and something that's kind of virtual could mean so much. Question number 5. What do you like the most and the least about having a channel? I think what I like the most is, like I said, being able to share, being able to connect, being able to talk with people, being able to play with makeup. I mean, makeup isn't something that I've been doing for a long time, but it does make me happy, even though I have a lot of it and I'm trying to figure out what to do about that. And we'll probably get into that with some other questions. I think what I like least about having the channel is just that there's just not a lot of time. YouTube is like another full-time job. Like it's not even a part-time job. The filming part takes, I mean, may take some time. I really don't like doing multiple looks videos in one sitting. And I was doing a lot of that at the beginning too, a lot of it. 3 looks, lashes, having to get the lashes off, clean them, get the lash glue off. I hated that, and it made me not want to film. And that's when I was like, you know what, if you don't want to put the lashes on, like just don't put them on. And at first I wasn't wearing lashes, and then I felt like I needed to because everybody else was putting on lashes, you know. It's like, I'm just gonna try to grow my own. So yeah, I really honestly don't have the time to have a channel. And that's just being honest. The editing part is really long, and I am a huge tech person. I love technology, gadgets, you know, so learning how to do the camera, learning like the lights, all that. I love all of that. And I really like editing, but I kind of dread editing because I know it takes a long time. And that's the thing that I don't like, that I don't really have time to do this. And I'm just finding, just like I said, little pockets, little corners where I'm just like, you know, trying to get it in. And so in a way, it's like, I'm excited to do it, but then I also feel anxiety a little bit. So yeah, like right now I'm cool, but I'm just saying, like, I'm cutting this one really close because it's going up tomorrow, and it'll be up by 11:30. But that's kind of how I roll. So I wish I did have like a designated kind of time where it's like, you know, I can do this, but that's just not how my life is set up at this time. And the way things aren't the way that they will always be. So, you know, it's cool. Like there was a video I did, it may have been a month or so, where I don't know where the boys were, but I had like 2 hours to just sit and play with stuff. And I was like, oh, this is fun. But most of the time I'm on a time crunch. So that's what I like the least. Number 6 is, are you able to come up with video ideas easily, or is that a challenging aspect? So this is an interesting question, because if I have new makeup to play with, then there's nothing to come up with. But I started to realize that like every video I have a new eyeshadow palette. Every single video I have something brand new. So I'm not doing as well as I want to as far as like my makeup budget, and I'm just being honest. And you know, just kind of sitting and looking at things in retrospect, it's just kind of like, you don't even have time. Like you don't even have time to film all the stuff that you have. I have the Nomad palette here. I have the Notoriously Morbid palette here. I have palettes that I haven't even touched. So it's like having content is easy when you're always buying something. And I'm trying to get out of that because I don't want to be a review channel. You know, I look at people that get things like in PR, and I get some things in PR, and it's like, I'm happy to review those things because those are things that I probably would have bought. Like those are things that I was buying. The brands that send me things are brands I was buying stuff from before they started sending them to me. So it's like, yeah, that's great, but I'm still buying a lot, and I don't want to buy to review. Like, I'm not making a lot of money from this channel. So for me to be going out and saying, I just want to try a Rare Beauty lipstick just because I haven't tried it, or I want to try the formula. It's like, no, Kara, you do not have money like that, you know? And one thing I do want to mention is that when the pandemic was like, I mean, we're still in the pandemic, but in 2020, my expenses were a bit different because there were just certain things. Like I buy a lot of things for my students, you know, as a teacher, and I wasn't buying anything. I wasn't buying any things from Teachers Pay Teachers, which is where I buy a lot of stuff that I put up, like decorations and things. I wasn't buying treats. I wasn't buying snacks. I mean, it's a huge expense. I wasn't buying any school supplies. So there was just kind of some money that I was like playing around with. And then August was going to school virtually. His tuition was cheaper. So now the smart person, you know, I should have saved, you know, the money, but no, I didn't, you know. And I think that during that time, you know, we were all in the house and trying to cope, and that's kind of how it went down. So now when I am filming, I want to get away from everything always being new, and that can be challenging. It can be challenging to come up with content, but I like, you know, I like the YouTube tags. I like that kind of stuff because I think it's fun to dig in your collection and find your, I don't know, 10 favorite blushes, or, you know, just different things that kind of make you peruse what you have and revisit like those things that you once really, really wanted. And this tag, I think, is a special one because, you know, I'm going to look back at this when I edit and just think about what it is I'm saying, because I'm just kind of talking. But I think these kind of tags are special. And it's funny because I'm thinking about like Christmas for this year, if I'm going to be able to do it, and like, how can I make it different from last year? And like my friend Kelly at Keep Beauty Real, she and I have the Build Your Own Palette collab that just came out of a conversation. So that's like a staple thing that we do every month. I love doing that tag with her. Now that we're getting into the second year, we're like, are we gonna do the same thing each month, or are we gonna do something different? Are we gonna do a Halloween palette every October? Is that gonna get boring? Are we gonna pick out the same things? So, you know, I do find some creativity with that, but it is challenging. It's challenging to find something to do that's different, and to find something that's different from what other YouTubers are doing. A lot of it, I think, comes down to, you know, your personality and, you know, who gravitates towards you, because like I said, there's tons of us on here. So yeah, it can be tough. Number 8 is, so far, what is the video that you've created that you love the most proud of? And which one do you like the least? I don't know. Right away, what stands out to me are the Nomad videos that I did for the Iceland palette, because like Iceland became like on my bucket list because of that palette. It's not a place I really thought about going before, and I filmed the video. I had on a coat, like I was like ready, you know, like we're going here today. I talked about the food, I talked about the lagoon. I did like 4 videos on that one palette, and I think I did a look for each one. I can't remember. It has been very challenging for me to do those Nomad videos since then in that same manner, just because of time. But like the Provence video was fun. The what's the other one I did? There's another one, Haunted Europe, when I just talked about each landmark, America's parks, where each thing was from. But nothing was really like the Iceland videos. Those were fun, and if I had time, I would do something like that for the Nomad palettes. But it's really tough. The other videos that stand out to me are like my Pat McGrath videos. I've just somehow become, I think, pretty knowledgeable about her eyeshadow palettes. And so like the ranking videos and sharing my Pat McGrath collection. I'm proud of my Pat McGrath collection. And yeah, I like those. But I don't really have any videos that like I'm not proud of or I don't like. I think I'm really proud of my purchase or pass videos because they're just so fun to film. I love looking at stuff and reacting, and a lot of the commentary that I make in those videos, different sayings that I have, they come from like my friends and I, like especially in high school, just things I used to say all the time. And it's just funny because I won't even realize I said it, and then like I'll show it to my friend Akil, and then he'll like finish the line. Like, you know, he'll just be like, oh my God, Kara, like my camera cut me off. But like, I still say a lot of the same things that I was saying when I was like 16, you know, and it's funny. Like I'll be editing and I'll just be laughing like, Kara, what are you talking about? So I love that. I love that I do the mimosas and makeup video. I think they're fun. You know, I don't think I have a favorite video. I like the videos where I go off on tangents and talk about like real life stuff because I don't know, I like that feel, like, because I'm a real person. And it's funny because one of my friends on Instagram, and you know, subscribes to the channel, her name is Tiani, one day she video FaceTimed me on Instagram because we talk about makeup, you know, and she was like, oh my God, oh my God. I was like, I was giving the boys a bath. And she's like, I really didn't mean to. And I'm like, oh, it's fine. It's fine. She's like, oh my God. And I'm like, it's funny because like, I'm just here giving the boys a bath. Like, I'm just a regular person. Like a regular person. You know what I mean? So, I forgot the question. Oh, I don't have a favorite video. See, I'm already talking about different things. But no, I like all my videos because I think when I go back and look at some of the older videos and how I've changed and what I do different, and sometimes I'm like, I look better when I was doing that video, and my hair was like this or whatever. Like, it just shows kind of like an evolution, and I love that. All right, moving on. Let's move on. Number 9. Oh, we only got 2 left. Okay. Do you think about long-term goals for your channel, or do you focus on the here and now? I don't really know what my goals are for this channel. I mean, I would love to be able to do something like this. I would say, like, if I could do education part-time and then this part-time, like if I had like more time like for YouTube, I would really love that. But I don't know about like full-time YouTube, but I am very far away from that. And I'm never say never, but I'm just, we gotta, let's be honest, you know what I'm saying? So long term though, I do see myself still doing YouTube. Like, it's fun, and I like that, you know, I'm not 20, I'm not 25, I'm 41, and I'm changing. My body's changing, my face is changing, you know, so it's like adapting to everything and just talking about life, watching my boys grow. This is, like I said, it's almost like a documentary, you know, and the makeup is a little aside. So I do see myself doing it long term. But I'm mostly focused on the here and now, kind of. Because one of the things that I am thinking about, and I do want to make this point, is like, how sustainable is it for me to just keep buying makeup, keep buying makeup, keep buying makeup? Can I do that long term? I mean, the answer is yes, but it's more like, do I want to do that long term? Or like, can I get my discipline together and have content where I'm not buying stuff all the time? Those are questions that I ask myself, because one of the things that I have been like hyper focused on is traveling. And when I think about how much money I've spent on makeup, I'm like, that could have been a trip. But at the time, it couldn't have been a trip because we weren't going anywhere. So now when I buy things, I'm like, do I want to put the money to this, or do I want to put it in my little travel account that I open? Because $25 here, $50 here, $10 here, depending on what I'm buying, $128 here, Mama Pat, $110 is Amaya. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you think about all that right there, and you've got a plane ticket. And so that has been something that's on my mind all the time now. My basement is still not done. I know, but that is just, you know, that basement is just doing the most. But it's getting there. But it's a lot of money. That was like an unwanted renovation for like when my basement had to be waterproof. So it's like, you know, I'm thinking about that. So yes, I think about long term, and more so in a monetary way, and how can the channel be sustained if I'm not gonna just be buying a whole bunch of makeup all the time. But I do like makeup. I like trying makeup. It's fun. I love eyeshadow palettes, but it's an expensive hobby. So trying to find that balance is where I'm at right now. And I don't want to look too far long term, because I do want to focus on the here and now. And one of my goals is to be more present in my life. You know what I mean? I don't want to be stuck in the past, and I don't want to be all in the future all the time, because then in the here and now, it's like I feel like I'm on like an autopilot mode, or I feel like I'm here, but I'm not here. And I really don't like that feeling. My mind, it is so hard for me to quiet my mind that it's like, you know, I really am trying to lessen all the noise in my life. And that's why, like, I do like the idea of this soft life trend that's going on, or just having a life of ease. And leisure. That's the word I use on vacation with the boys, leisure. I am not there yet. I am not close to being there yet, but I am getting into having that mindset, and I am putting it out there that that's what I want. And so I will get there. And I'm going to keep, you know, just putting it out there and asking myself those questions like, is this going to make things easier for me? Is this going to make me have to rush around? Do I have so many thoughts going on in my head that I can't focus on one thing at a time, which is usually the case, you know? What can I eliminate? So yeah, I do think about the future, but I am trying to focus on the present. So a little bit of both. And the last question is, if you could sit down with your former pre-YouTube self, what advice would you give yourself in regards to having a YouTube channel? I think that probably don't spend a whole lot of money. Like, you are competing with people who have been doing this for years, people who have hundreds of thousands of subscribers. And I think that, and I may have said it earlier, that people do go to certain people because they know they're going to have the new. You know what I mean? But I think it's also a personality thing. And I think that even if you don't have something new, or you don't have something up first, if someone likes you, even if someone has a review up first, they're still going to want to see what you have to do. And I think I felt like I needed to have the new stuff because I was trying to compete, you know. And I'll never forget when the Tiny Marvels palette came. I got that review up. It came and I was home and I was like, oh, I'm filming it right now. The only other time I've been able to stop and do something like that was when the Pat palette came. So there's only been 2 times where I have gotten something and I'm like, I am gonna have this up early. Now with the Tiny Marvels palette, of course, Mel Thompson had her looks up and things like that. So we saw that, and maybe 1 or 2 other people. But once, you know, everybody else got their Tiny Marvels palette that had, you know, bigger channels, like, my stuff went down, you know what I mean? It was the same with the Pat McGrath. Like, it got a little jump start, you know, because I had the first review up, but I was not gonna be able to stop what I was doing I mean, normally I can't stop what I'm doing to film anything. And I just had the opportunity and did that. But, you know, don't feel like you have to be like other people. I would tell myself, don't feel like you have to have everything. I'm still telling myself that now though. Don't feel like you have to be anything other than who you are, because who I am and what I'm trying to have show through is what I think people like. And there can be someone that has all the new stuff, but maybe they're dry, or maybe they're boring, or maybe their eye looks or how they do their eye looks or makeup doesn't match up with your style or my style. You know what I mean? So just be who you are, you know? So I think that's it. I mean, that might be kind of corny, like be yourself. But no, when you have examples in front of you, you know, and you're trying to see what people like, I think it's really natural that you want to model someone else's example. But I think that's a normal thing. And then things kind of fall and settle into place. So I think that would be another thing. Like, hey, like things will fall into place. I'm still telling myself that, because as I do try to maybe not focus on buying, it may be tough. It may be tough to find content, or it may be tough to figure out what I want to do, but it will fall into place and it'll work out. So that's gonna be it, y'all. Yeah, I can't wait to go through and edit this video because I think it's a good, like, healthy thing to stop in anything that you're doing and assess where you are and where you're going. But what I can say is I'm extremely proud of this channel, and not just because of me. I'm proud because of all of us. I am proud because of what we have made it, and because I didn't do it by myself. And you know, it did take courage to say I want to, like, get up and do this. And I was really surprised that I got subscribers, you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm proud of this. I'm proud of it all. I'm grateful, I'm thankful, I'm humble, you know what I mean? I'm all of that stuff. I'm all the feels. So yeah, that's it for this tag. Let me know what you think. And if you are a content creator, I would encourage you to, even if you don't film it, I would encourage you to answer the questions for yourself. Like I said, when you're creating content, or when you're doing anything that's taking a lot of time and effort, like it's good to, like, reflect and see where you are. And so yeah, has YouTube changed me? Absolutely. Absolutely. And where am I now? I think I'm in a great place. I think I'm in a great place. This can go in any direction that I want it to. It's something I can continue with or not if I want to, you know what I mean? So, but I'm going to continue though. So thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with me for another Mimosas and Makeup. I hope this was therapy for you. It definitely was for me. So until I see you again, make sure you're being gentle with yourself. Talk to yourself nice, stay safe, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.